The deception. Captain Alina Reyes maintained her composure as the Snickers followed her through Nexus Station's bustling trade hub. The towering Valhari merchant to her left made no attempt to lower his voice. Look at that human and her pathetic vessel. Can you believe they consider themselves a spacefaring species? His companion, a slender Zixari with iridescent skin, laughed in that peculiar bubbling way their species did when amused. I heard they still use fusion reactors. Fusion, like children playing with sparklers. Elena continued her steady pace toward the supply depot, ignoring the not-so-subtle mockery. Through the massive viewports of the station, her ship, the UEN Trickster, hung in dock, looking every bit like the outdated relic everyone believed it to be. Its hull appeared patched and worn, with exposed conduits and what seemed to be improvised repairs dotting its surface. The supply depot manager, a squat Krell with 4 arms and perpetual disdain in his compound eyes, barely acknowledged her as she approached the counter. Captain Reyes. The usual primitive supplies, I assume. The Krell's mandibles clicked with barely disguised contempt. Yes, Administrator Vrock. The usual. Elena handed over her requisition order on an outdated tablet. And if you could expedite the hydrocarbon processing, we're having trouble with our converters again. The Krell made a sound halfway between a snort and a hiss. Of course you are. It's remarkable your species manages interstellar travel at all. Elena forced a smile. We make do with what we have. As she waited for her supplies, Elena observed the station's activities. Dozens of sleek vessels from various advanced civilizations docked and departed with elegant precision. Military ships from the recently formed Galactic Concordat moved with increasing frequency through the sector. Nobody paid much attention to the human vessel or its captain, exactly as planned. Her communicator buzzed, deliberately designed to make an annoying, outdated sound. Reyes here, Captain, came the voice of her XO, Commander Devisha. We've completed the, repairs to the external cooling systems. The slight emphasis told Elena all she needed to know. Their latest intelligence gathering was complete. Good work on finishing the supply run. Prepare for departure in 2 hours. When Elena returned to the Trickster, she was greeted by the familiar sound of the airlock cycling with unnecessary loudness, another carefully orchestrated detail. Inside, the facade dropped immediately. The Trickster's interior bore no resemblance to its external appearance. Clean, advanced systems hummed efficiently beneath recessed lighting. Crew members moved with practiced precision between stations that featured technology at least 3 generations beyond what any alien civilization believed humans possessed. Commander Shah met her at the inner airlock. Welcome back, Captain. I trust your performance was convincing. Elena grinned. Our reputation as the laughingstock of the galaxy remains intact. No one suspects a thing. What did our sensors pick up? They walked briskly to the command center, not the cramped, cluttered bridge visible during the rare external inspection, but a spacious, state-of-the-art command hub hidden within the Trickster's core. Significant findings, Captain, Shah reported, activating the central holographic display. The Concordat fleet movements have accelerated. Our passive sensors recorded 47 warships passing through this sector in the past 72 hours. Energy signatures suggest they're running weapons hot. Lieutenant Commander Marcus Chen, their tactical officer, joined them. We also intercepted some interesting communications. They weren't even bothering to encrypt them properly. Why would they, when the only human ship in range is a joke? What did they say? Elena asked, studying the fleet movement patterns displayed in the hologram. Operation Cleansing, Chen said grimly. Scheduled to begin in approximately 48 hours. Target coordinates align with New Terra colony. Elena's jaw tightened. New Terra was home to over 3 million humans. They're going to attack a civilian colony without provocation or declaration of war. They're confident, Shah added. The communications suggest they expect minimal resistance. After all, humans are just primitive newcomers to galactic society, barely able to keep their ships functioning. Her tone was bitter. This was the grand deception humanity had maintained for nearly 15 years. When humans first achieved faster-than-light travel and encountered the established galactic community, they quickly realized they were technologically outmatched in conventional terms. But rather than revealing their true capabilities and potentially triggering an arms race, or worse, a preemptive strike from fearful neighbors, Earth's leadership had made a bold decision. Let them think we're weak. Let them underestimate us. The trickster and ships like it were the result. Vessels that appeared primitive and struggled to function, but in reality housed cutting-edge technology and gathered intelligence while hiding in plain sight. "What's the status of the fleet?" Elena asked. "Admiral Okafor has the 7th Fleet on standby in the Ta Ceti system," Chen replied. "They can be at New Terra within 4 hours of receiving our signal." Elena nodded. "And the trickster's combat systems?" "Full operational capacity," Shaw confirmed. "All weapons systems green, shields at 100%, and our next-gen drive is functioning perfectly. No one would know by scanning us. All they see is an outdated fusion reactor barely keeping life support online." Elena studied the tactical display, watching the movements of the Concordat ships. The alien alliance had been growing increasingly hostile toward human expansion, viewing Earth's colonies as unwelcome intrusions in their space. Now they planned to make an example of New Terra, expecting an easy victory against what they thought were defenseless humans with primitive technology. "They have no idea what they're walking into," Elena said quietly. The true extent of human technological advancement remained Earth's most closely guarded secret. While outwardly adopting fusion power and chemical propulsion, human engineers had actually developed efficient antimatter reactors and inertialess drive systems decades ago. Similarly, while other species believed humans relied on basic deflector shields and kinetic weapons, the trickster carried advanced phase shields and energy weapons that could match or exceed anything in the Concordat arsenal. "Communications, prepare a coded transmission to Admiral Okafor. Include all our intelligence on the Concordat fleet movements and operation cleansing." Elena's voice was steady, determined. "Then set course for New Terra. We need to be in position before they arrive." "Captain," Shaw said hesitantly, "if we move to defend New Terra, we'll have to reveal our true capabilities." "The deception will have served its purpose," Elena finished. "We've gathered critical intelligence and maintained the element of surprise. Now we use it." As the trickster prepared to depart, a Concordat patrol vessel approached. Their communication system crackled to life with a deliberate static effect. "Human vessel," came the condescending voice of the patrol commander. "Your departure vector is inefficient. Adjust course to heading 227 Mark 45 to avoid collision with incoming traffic." Elena activated the external communication system, ensuring it produced the expected poor quality. "Thank you for the assistance," she replied, adding a hint of nervous gratitude to her voice. "Our navigation systems are having some trouble today. We appreciate your guidance." The alien commander's tone dripped with superiority. "Perhaps your species should consider remaining planetside until you master basic spaceflight." "We're doing our best, sir," Elena responded meekly. "Have a pleasant cycle." As the communication ended, Elena's expression hardened. "Navigation. Set course for New Terra. Conventional drive until we're out of sensor range. Then engage the inertialess drive. Tactical. Run a complete systems check on all weapons. Communications. Alert all human ships in the sector to clear the area. Code phrase Rising Thunder." The crew moved with practiced efficiency, the facade of incompetence completely gone. "They think we're limping home with our outdated engines and makeshift repairs," Elena said quietly to Shaw. "Let them think that. In 2 days, they'll learn what happens when you underestimate humanity." The trickster pulled away from Nexus Station with deliberately uneven thrust, looking every bit like a struggling vessel piloted by a species barely capable of interstellar travel. The Concordat officials watching its departure smiled in amusement and dismissal. None of them realized they were watching humanity's most advanced warship slip away to prepare a devastating surprise. The Reckoning. The UN Trickster arrived at New Terra 20 hours later, having engaged its true drive system once safely beyond conventional detection range. To any observer, it would have appeared that the human vessel had made the journey in record time through sheer luck and desperate piloting. New Terra glowed blue and green through the command center's viewing screen, a vibrant colony world with 3 million human inhabitants who had no idea they were about to become the target of an unprovoked attack. Small transport ships and orbital platforms moved in calm patterns around the planet, going about their daily business. Status of the defense grid, Captain Rice asked. Lieutenant Commander Chen consulted his display. All planetary defense systems are on standby but inactive. New Terra's governor has been notified with the code phrase. They're ready to activate everything on your command, but maintaining normal operations to avoid tipping off any Concordat scouts. And Admiral Okafor. Commander Shaw responded. The 7th Fleet is holding position in the shadow of New Terra's third moon. 26 vessels, all running silent with stealth systems engaged. No sign they've been detected. Elena nodded in satisfaction. The pieces were in place. Now they waited. Captain, the sensor officer called. Long-range detection shows multiple FTL signatures approaching. Concordat energy patterns confirmed. Time to arrival. Approximately 17 minutes at current velocity. Elena took a deep breath. This is it. Broadcast the activation code to the planetary defense grid. Tell Admiral Okafor to maintain position until my signal, and prepare the Trickster for full combat configuration. Throughout the ship, hidden systems hummed to life. Panels that had appeared to be basic hull plating retracted to reveal advanced weapon emplacements. The seemingly primitive sensor array reconfigured into a cutting-edge tactical system. Most dramatically, the outer hull, designed to look patched and outdated, began to transform as nanomaterial shifted to reveal the Trickster's true form, sleek, dangerous, and unmistakably advanced. All systems ready, Captain, Shaw reported. The Trickster is at full combat capability. Elena settled into her command chair. Position us directly in their approach vector. I want to be the first thing they see when they arrive. The Trickster moved to the designated coordinates, now looking nothing like the struggling vessel that had endured mockery throughout known space. Instead, it waited like a predator, weapons charged and shields at maximum. Concordat fleet dropping out of FTL, the sensor officer announced. 63 vessels confirmed. 78. 89 total. Multiple capital ships detected. The main display showed the Concordat Armada materializing in New Terra's orbit, a massive collection of warships arranged in attack formation. At their center was the dreadnought Inviolable Justice, the flagship of the Concordat fleet. For a moment, there was silence as the Concordat fleet oriented itself. Then the communication system activated. "Attention, human colony," came the arrogant voice of the Concordat fleet commander. "This is Admiral Vextor of the Galactic Concordat. Your unauthorized settlement in Concordat space ends today. You have 1 hour to begin evacuation before we commence planetary bombardment." Elena smiled coldly. "Open a channel." When the connection established, she spoke clearly, her voice betraying none of the submission the aliens had come to expect from humans. "Admiral Vextor, this is Captain Elena Reyes of the United Earth Navy vessel Trickster. There will be no bombardment today. New Terra is sovereign human territory, and you are the trespassers here." There was a pause before the Admiral's confused response came through. "The Trickster, that primitive human vessel." His tone shifted from confusion to amusement. "Captain Rice, perhaps you misunderstand the situation. Your single outdated ship cannot possibly stand against our armada. Stand down and assist with the evacuation of your people." "I don't think you understand the situation, Admiral," Elena replied calmly. "The Trickster you think you know doesn't exist. It never did." She nodded to Shaw, who activated the ship's external illumination, dramatically highlighting the Trickster's transformed appearance. "What trickery is this?" the Admiral demanded, his confidence wavering for the first time. "It's called strategy, Admiral. Something your Concordat clearly needs to study more carefully." Elena leaned forward in her chair. "This is your only warning. Withdraw your forces immediately, or face the consequences of your aggression." Admiral Vextor's laugh cut through the communication channel. "An admirable bluff, human, but one ship, no matter how you've disguised it, cannot stand against our might. Prepare to be destroyed as an example to your species." Elena cut the communication and turned to her crew. "They've made their choice. Tactical, target the inviolable Justice's propulsion systems. Communications, signal Admiral Okafor. Operation Reckoning is a go." The trickster's weapons powered up, not the basic lasers and railguns the Concordat expected, but advanced phase cannons and quantum torpedoes that had been developed in secret Earth laboratories for decades. "Fire," Elena commanded. Brilliant energy beams lanced from the trickster, slicing through the dreadnought's shields as if they weren't there. Quantum torpedoes followed, detonating with precision against the massive vessel's engine section. The inviolable Justice lurched, its rear section erupting in blue-white fire as its propulsion systems failed catastrophically. The Concordat fleet reacted with shock delay, then scrambled to attack the suddenly dangerous human vessel. But as they moved to engage, new threats appeared on their sensors. From behind New Terra's third moon, the Seventh Fleet emerged, 26 warships of varying classes, all bearing the same advanced technology as the trickster. Simultaneously, the planet's primitive defense grid activated, revealing itself to be a network of cutting-edge weapon platforms capable of engaging multiple targets. "All ships, this is Admiral Okafor," came the transmission across all frequencies. "Protect New Terra at all costs. Show them what humanity is truly capable of." What followed was not the easy victory the Concordat had anticipated, but a devastating demonstration of human military prowess. The supposedly primitive species that had been the butt of jokes throughout the galaxy unleashed weapons and tactics that stunned their attackers. The trickster led the assault, its advanced maneuverability systems allowing it to dance between enemy vessels while delivering precision strikes. Captain Rice directed her ship with the confidence of someone who had trained for this moment her entire career. "They're attempting to regroup at coordinates 227 Mark 45. Chen reported as the battle raged. Elena's eyes narrowed. "The same coordinates they helpfully suggested for our course correction at Nexus Station. Transmit to Admiral Okafor. That's their predetermined rally point." Within minutes, the human fleet had positioned itself to intercept the retreating Concordat ships, cutting off their escape route. 3 hours after the battle began, it was over. Of the 89 Concordat vessels that had arrived to destroy a human colony, 37 had been destroyed, 41 disabled and boarded, and only 11 had managed to escape to carry word of the devastating defeat. The inviolable Justice, once the pride of the Concordat fleet, floated powerless as Captain Rice's shuttle approached for the formal surrender. When she stepped onto the dreadnought's command deck, Admiral Vextor stared at her with a mixture of shock and humiliation. "How?" he demanded. "How did you conceal such technology?" "Our intelligence indicated." "Your intelligence saw exactly what we wanted you to see," Elena interrupted. "For 15 years, humanity has endured your mockery and condescension while building our strength and studying your weaknesses. You never bothered to look beyond the surface because you were so convinced of your superiority." The Admiral's mandibles twitched in anger. "This deception, this trickery, is dishonorable." Elena laughed. "No, Admiral. Attacking a civilian colony without provocation is dishonorable. We simply ensured we'd be ready when you tried." In the days that followed, the galaxy reeled from the revelation of humanity's true capabilities. The images of advanced human warships decimating the Concordat armadas spread across every communication channel. The species that had been dismissed as barely spacefaring had revealed itself to be a formidable power. 1 month after the Battle of New Terra, Captain Reyes stood on the observation deck of the newly established Earth Embassy on Nexus Station. The trickster hung in dock outside, no longer disguised as a struggling vessel, but proudly displaying its true form. Commander Shaw joined her at the viewport. "Quite a different reception we're getting now," she observed, noting how alien visitors gave them respectful distance and cautious nods. "Fear isn't the same as respect," Elena replied. "But it's a starting point. We never wanted war. We just wanted to be left in peace to develop our own path." And now, Elena watched as a Valhari diplomatic vessel docked nearby, carrying representatives to negotiate a formal treaty with Earth. "Now we take our place as equals," she said, "not as the primitives they mocked, nor as conquerors they fear, but as a species that earned its right to exist among the stars through intelligence, patience, and determination." The deception was over. The reckoning had come and gone. And humanity, the species no one had taken seriously, had proven that appearances could be deceiving indeed.